This is lesson 2.5, pre-algebra. The section is called Addition and Subtraction with Fractions. Now when we're multiplying fractions or dividing fractions, we deal with both the numerator and the denominator. So when we have like 2/7 times 1/3, we multiplied the numerators and we multiplied the denominators. But when we add fractions, I'm going to put 2/7 plus 3/7. It's a little bit different. When the denominators are the same, we leave the denominator the way it is in the answer, and all we do is add our numerators. And there's our answer. Okay, if you look in the first section of this 2.5, it gives you the theory about why it works and how it works. If you're interested in reading that, I'm not going to go into that, but you can do that. And so the rule when it comes to fractions is to add two fractions that have the same denominator, you add their numerators to get the numerator of the answer. And then the denominator in the answer is the same denominator as in the original fractions. So in this case, once we have the denominators the same, because they're not always the same, we just add the numerators and we put that answer over our common denominator here. So if we had something like 9/5 minus 3/5, it works exactly the same. Our answer is, the denominator is a 5, and all we do is subtract 9 minus 3, and we're done there. If we have several numbers, like 3/7 plus 2/7 plus 9/7. As long as the bottom number, as long as the denominator is the same, we can add these. We put our 7 down on the bottom, and we just add the numbers that are on top, and we get 14/7. And one of the things that we can do is once we get a fraction like 14/7, this is an improper fraction where the numerator is bigger than the denominator, we can see if 7 goes into the 14 evenly. If it does, then we can write 14/7 as just 2. 14 divided by 7 is 2, so that's reduced down to its lowest terms. But not all fractions added and subtracted together are going to have common denominators. For example, in example 2, we have 5/12 and we have 7/18. I'm going to write that down here. We're not adding those. It just says find the LCD, find the least common denominator of the 12 and the 18. Least common denominator is what is the smallest number that both 18 and 12 divide evenly into. In this particular case, it is 36. 18 goes into 36 2 times. 12 goes into 36 3 times. So that's the smallest number, the 36, that both the 12 goes into and the 18 goes into. Now 18 goes into a lot of different numbers, but the smallest one it goes into that 12 also shares is 36. So how do we come up with that 36? Well, that's what we're going to do in this next part here, and that's where our factor tree comes in handy. And so let's go ahead and let's put that 7 back there. What we're going to do is we're going to factor that 12 down. 2 times 2 times 3. And we're going to factor that 18 down to 2 times 3 times 3. Alright, in order to find the least common denominator, which we have to have if we're going to add or subtract these fractions, what we do is we look at the top row of numbers here, and we look at each individual, we've got a couple 2's and we have a 3. We have 2 2's here, and we look down here and see if we have any 2's. We have a 2 here, but we have more 2's up here. So we're going to circle the one with the most 2's. Okay, and we're going to throw that one out. Then we're going to look at another set of numbers. We have a 3 here, and we have 2 3's here. So we're going to circle the one with the most 3's, and we're going to throw that one out. Next, what we're going to do is all the numbers that we circled, we're going to multiply together. 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 9 is 36. And that is how we find our least common denominator. Okay, so let's try a couple more just so you can get the hang of this, because this is probably a new idea. I don't know that anybody does it this way, so it might take a little bit to figure out. And if you have a better way or a way you like better, that's fine too. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, look at our 4, and we're going to take 2 times 2, and we're going to look at our 6, and that's going to be 2 times 3. So I look at my 2's. I have 2 2's up here, so I'm going to circle it. I only have 1 there, and I don't want it. Okay, and I look down here, and I have 1 3, and I don't have any up here, so I circle the 1 3 that I have. Multiply these two together, and that's a 3. Multiply 4 times 3, and I get 12. So the least common denominator is 12. Alright, let's try another one. 7 and 15, and 3 over 10. So my 15 is 3 times 5, and my 10 is 2 times 5. Okay, so let's look and see what we've got. I've got 1 3 up here. I don't have any down here. So my 3 occurs the most right there. I look at my 5. I've got 1 5 there and 1 5 there. They occur the same amount of times, so it doesn't matter which one you circle, as long as you circle one and get rid of the other. And then that's all for up here. I'm going to look down here. I've got a 2 here. I don't have any up there, so it occurs the most there, so I circle that. So I have 15 times 2. My least common denominator is 30, which 10 goes into it 3 times. 15 goes into it twice. So that works for me as far as least common denominator. Alright, so as you do these, I think that comes in pretty handy. If you had a number such as 3/18 and you wanted to find the common denominator, let's say that you wanted to add 5 24ths to that. Find the common denominator. Well, I'm going to take my 18 and I'm going to write it as my product of primes. And my 24, I'm going to write as my product of primes. And then I'm going to do that little trick I did before. I have 1 2 right here, but I have 3 right there, so those are the ones I want. I have 2 3's there, and I have 1 3 there. Well, these are the 2 I want, and I don't want that one. So I'm looking for all of the numbers that occur the most. And the ones that don't occur the most, such as this 2 here, it doesn't occur the most in this line, it only occurs once. Down here it occurs 3 times. So if it doesn't occur the most, get rid of it and circle or box the ones that occur the most. So this 3 only happened once, this one it happened twice, so we want those. Okay, so this gives me 9, and this gives me 8. So my least common denominator is 72. So both 24 and 18 go into 72 evenly. So once we find that out, that brings us to our next step. So let's go ahead and move some of this stuff out of here. And we've got something like 3/5 minus 1/6. Okay, so find common denominators. That is prime, so there's nothing you can do with that one. And this is 3 times 2. So where does 5 occur the most? Right there, because it doesn't occur with 6 at all. 3 times 2. 3 occurs the most right there. 2 occurs the most right there. So we have a 5 and a 6, 3 times 2. Multiply those together and we get 30. So the least common denominator is 30. So I need to change the 3 over 5 into something over 30 minus something over 30. So what we've got here is we've got the new denominator here that are matching, that are the same. And now what we have to do is look at the numerator, and those are going to change too because of this 5 changed to a 30. This 3 has to change. So all I do is say, okay, well, how many times what did I have to multiply by 5 to get 30? Well, I had to multiply 6 by 5 to get 30. So now I multiply 3 times that same 6. So actually this right there, 3/5 is 18 over 30 reduced. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing with my 1/6. I changed the 6 to a 30. How did I change it? I multiplied the 6 by a 5. So if I multiply the bottom number by a 5, I have to multiply the top number by a 5. So 5 times 1 is 5. Now my denominators are the same. And now I can subtract 18 minus 5 is 13. And I can put that over 30.